Most tech companies build software to help you share photos or buy shoes. This company built software to track terrorists, predict crime, and forget and fight wars. For over a decade, Wall Street wasn't even allowed to know how they made money. Yet today, it is one of the most aggressively traded, fiercely debated tech stocks on the planet, turning other retail investors into millionaires. But behind the multi-billion-dollar government contracts and the recent AI hype lies a dark history that the mainstream media completely missed. A story of near bankruptcy, fierce political sabotage, and a secret operation that changed the global intelligence community forever. This is how Palantir actually built its more than $300 billion empire. To understand why Palantir exists, we have to go back to the chaotic aftermath of the dot-com crash. In 2002, eBay bought a young payments company called PayPal. The founders, later dubbed the PayPal Mafia, walked away with hundreds of millions of dollars. But billionaire Peter Thiel was obsessed with a specific problem. PayPal had barely survived credit card fraud. PayPal had built a primitive AI software that looked at millions of transactions, flagged suspicious patterns, and stopped cyber criminals. When the September 11 attacks shook the world, Thiel realized something critical. If the same pattern recognition software used to catch credit card thieves was applied to global intelligence data, it could map out terrorist networks before they ever struck. The idea was simple yet terrifying. Create a digital God's eye for global intelligence. In 2003, Thiel teamed up with his eccentric Stanford law classmate Alex Karp and officialized the project. They named it Palantir, after the mystical all-seeing crystal balls from the Lord of the Rings. But there was a massive roadblock. Silicon Valley venture capitalists refused to invest a single dollar, calling the idea a dystopian privacy nightmare. Blocked and rejected by the tech elite, Palantir had to find a backdoor into the most secretive client on earth, the Central Intelligence Agency. By 2004, Palantir was bleeding cash. Silicon Valley wouldn't touch them, and the company was surviving entirely on Peter Thiel's personal millions. But behind closed doors, a secretive branch of the US government was watching. It was called DETER, the Central Intelligence Agency's own venture capital firm, built specifically to fund technologies the public sector couldn't create. The CIA didn't just invest $2 million into Palantir, they gave them something far more valuable: access to the world's most complex data problems. Government agencies were drowning in unorganized information, phone logs, flight manifests, financial transactions, and intercepted emails. The data existed but was soiled. No human could connect the dots. Palantir's engineers built a platform that instantly mapped these chaotic fragments into a visual web of real-world relationships. Suddenly, analysts could track a target's digital footprint across the globe in seconds instead of months. By 2005, the CIA was officially using Palantir. Soon after, the FBI, the NSA, and the Department of Defense signed on. Palantir had successfully embedded itself into the deepest layers of American national security. But this absolute secrecy created a new dangerous problem. As the company prepared to expand from tracking terrorists to tracking corporate profits, the world began to ask who actually controls this data. With the backing of the intelligence community, Palantir split its technology into two distinct, powerful engines. The first was named Palantir Gotham, the platform designed exclusively for defense and counter-terrorism analysts. Gotham's job was to ingest billions of data points and reveal patterns hidden deep within. Rumors began to swirl across Washington that Palantir was the secret weapon used to pinpoint the world's most elusive targets. While the company never openly took credit, its valuation quickly exploded into the billions. But Alex Karp and Peter Thiel realized that national security was only half the equation. The exact same data chaos paralyzing the CIA was also paralyzing global corporations. In 2010, they launched Palantir Metropolis, later evolving into Palantir Foundry. This was the corporate version of their digital God's Eye. They pitched it to global mega banks, insurance titans, and pharmaceutical giants. The promise: plug your entire enterprise data into our system, and we will show you exactly where you are losing millions. Major banks immediately deployed it to detect complex insider trading and massive international money laundering schemes. Pharmaceutical companies used it to analyze clinical trial data at speeds never before seen. Palantir was no longer just a contractor for the government. It was transitioning into the central operating system for global capitalism. Yet the deeper Palantir embedded itself into the private sector, the more a toxic culture of absolute secrecy began to push the company towards a breaking point. As the company grew, its internal culture became a fascinating paradox. Silicon Valley tech giants like Google and Facebook were famous for their open campuses, casual perks, and absolute transparency. Palantir was the complete opposite. It operated like an intelligence agency. Employees worked in heavily secured areas, colloquially called SIFs, highly classified rooms designed to prevent electronic eavesdropping. Engineers were subjected to intense background checks, and non-disclosure agreements were strictly enforced. At the center of this secretive empire was CEO Alex Karp, a PhD in social theory, a self-described neo-Marxist, and a man who practiced Tai Chi on corporate grounds. Karp was the ideological face of a company that built weaponized data tracking software. This ideological friction exploded into the public eye during the mid-2010s. Palantir faced massive public backlash when it was revealed that immigration agencies were using their software to track and deport individuals. Activists protested outside their Palo Alto offices, and engineers at rival tech firms publicly condemned the company. The pressure grew so intense that Silicon Valley essentially ostracized Palantir. But instead of backing down, Alex Karp fired back. He publicly blasted Silicon Valley's tech elite for selling advertising data to foreign adversaries while refusing to support American national security. In a historic move that shocked the tech industry, Karp packed up the company's headquarters and moved the entire operation to Denver, Colorado. Palantir was cutting its ties with the tech establishment. It was preparing for its ultimate, riskiest gamble, going public on the new stock exchange. In September 2020, Palantir bypassed the traditional IPO process and executed a direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker PRTR. For the first time in several 17 years, the public could see inside the black box. Wall Street analysts were instantly polarized. Some viewed Palantir as a glorified low-margin consulting firm that required too many engineers to deploy software. Others saw it as unprecedented monopoly on data operating systems. The stock debauched at around $10 a share and quickly became a battleground. But Wall Street didn't account for a new force in the market, the retail investor. A massive community of everyday traders championed Palantir as a generational tech giant. During the retail trading boom, the stock skyrocketed to over $35 a share. But as the broader tech market cooled and inflation soared, the hype evaporated. By late 2022, Palantir crashed down to an all-time low of nearly $6 a share. The mainstream media declared the Palantir experiment over. They claimed a secretive spy tech company could never survive the transparency demands of public markets. They were completely wrong. In 2023, the global technology landscape shifted forever with the explosion of generative artificial intelligence. While major tech companies scrambled to build consumer chatbots, Palantir had a 20-year head start on enterprise data infrastructure. They launched AIP, the artificial intelligence platform. AIP did something no other AI tool could do safely. It allowed massive military forces and Fortune 500 companies to deploy large language models inside their private, highly secure data environments without leaking corporate secrets. The corporate demand was unprecedented. Palantir's revenue exploded as hundreds of enterprises signed up for their hands-on AIP boot camps. By 2025 and into 2026, Palantir secured its inclusion into the S&P 500, officially solidifying its status as an institutional titan. The stock surged to historic highs, pushing its market capitalization well past the $50 billion milestone. What started as a rejected fraud detection tool funded out of Peter Thiel's pocket had evolved into the backbone of modern Western intelligence and global commerce. Palantir proved that in the modern era, the ultimate weapon isn't oil, gold, or hardware, it is data. And whosoever controls the operating system of data controls the future of wealth.